Good morning, Unity of Kalamazoo. How are we doing this morning? Wonderful. Well, you could probably tell that we have another special guest up here other than our normal clientele of musicians. We've got John on bass, Carolyn on drums today, myself, Brent, on keyboard, and we'd like to welcome here to Unity of Kalamazoo, Taylor Crow on cello today. All right. We also want to welcome anyone watching our streaming services today on either YouTube or what have you. And we're going to get started. So let's get singing today. All right. Let's stand up and get singing. We've got Gathering in Song, our first one, followed by We Are One. All right. Gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking in the light, starting out together on a journey through the miracle inside. There is abundance in our fellowship. It is a place we all belong. This is holiness. This is the moment, come along. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking in the light, starting out together on a journey through the miracle inside. There is a promise in our thankfulness. We know when we will seek and find. We can trust in this great holiness, the sacred spirit, yours and mine. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking in the light, starting out together on a journey through the miracle inside. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking in the light, starting out together on a journey through the miracle inside. On a journey through the miracles inside.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Karen Colson. I'll be your platform assistant today. Thank you, music team. Please join me in thanking them again. And thank you to everyone who helps make our service today here so special. That includes everyone on PowerPoint, streaming, video, our audio, ushers, and our hospitality and script services. If there are any visitors here for the first time, we would like to welcome you. And there's also a card in the pew for you to fill out. And if you would return that to an usher at the end of service, they have a small gift for you. We hope that you receive a blessing here today, and we are blessed by your presence. Welcome. Now, please join me in our mission statement. As an all-inclusive community, we awaken to spirit, grow into our soul, and build a better world. And our vision statement, create a world of ever-awakening consciousness, abundance, peace, and love for all. And our core values, love, authenticity, stewardship, oneness, and playfulness. So today we have as our guest speaker, a familiar face, Reverend Judy Pilat. I know Judy's very familiar to us, but I'm still going to read you a little bit of her background so that we get the full scope of where she's been. After a career in business that spanned 3 decades, Reverend Judy earned a Master of Divinity degree at Unity Institute and Seminary and was ordained by the Unity Worldwide Ministries in June of 2015. In October of that year, she was named as Senior Minister for Unity of Madison in Madison, Wisconsin. She served that congregation for 3 years and then stepped away from full-time church ministry to explore other ways to serve the Unity movement. In 2021, we welcomed her back to Kalamazoo to be closer to her family and friends. Judy began attending Unity of Kalamazoo in 1997 and became a member 2 years later in 1999. She served in the Building and Grounds team and was elected to 2 terms on the Board of Trustees and has served as board president when we made our transition to this location. She's deeply committed to Unity's vision and of a world transformed through spiritual awakening. And she has agreed to serve as a regular guest speaker and facilitator while we determine what's next and best for our spiritual community. So Judy will be up shortly. Welcome, Judy. And now please join us in singing We Are One.
We are one, we are one. I am you, you are me, we are one. And in that unity we can live in harmony and peace will come, 'cause we are one. We are one, we are one. I am you, you are me, we are one. And in that unity we can live in harmony and peace will come, 'cause we are one. We are one. We are one. I am you, you are me, we are one. And in that unity we can live in harmony and peace will come, 'cause we are one, and peace will come, 'cause we are one, and peace will come, 'cause we are one.
It's been kind of a tough week for me. I don't know about how the rest of you have been experiencing life, but at the beginning of this week, we received the news that we had lost another one of the members of our fabulous prayer group. Suzanne Skipper made her transition last Sunday. And that's 3 of them that have passed this year. And I've probably been to a few more Unity churches than you folks have been. It's the nature of the beast. And certainly in serving a congregation in another state, another city for 3 years, I had an opportunity to be in an environment where we didn't have that incredible core group of spiritual maturity and spiritual wisdom and people who were there every single week holding the high ground for us individually by praying over our prayer requests, but also holding the high ground for us as a spiritual community. They are a tremendous gift to us, and our prayer group continues but we certainly are feeling the passing of the ones we have lost here in the last few years. And we bless them and thank them for their service and hopefully take an example from them in terms of practicing that fifth principle. You know, it's not enough to know the truth. You must live the truth in service and in spirit, in thoughts, words, and actions. So we take a moment to simply remember Suzanne, remember the other members of the prayer group, and thank and express our gratitude to those who continue to serve in the prayer group. This has also been week number 2 of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and the stories become more heartbreaking day by day. And so we think about those whose lives are totally disrupted, the pain, the loss, the suffering, and we keep them in our thoughts and our prayers, but more importantly, I think it is up to each and every one of us to look within for a way for us to just take one positive action to support those who are suffering through this crisis, or to support the cause of peace in the world. And I don't care if that just means taking some cookies over to your neighbor to be an expression of God's presence. But let's do it. And then another one, and another one, and another one, until we continue to build step by step by step by step a spirit of peace and oneness in this world. And last but not least, today is the anniversary of Bloody Sunday. Terrible event in the civil rights movement that was part of the march from Selma to Montgomery, when the peaceful marchers were attacked by the troopers and police officers. And so that is also something that's in our consciousness and awareness today. And so I say all this because I think we're at a very delicate point in terms of we have made tremendous progress in so many ways and in so many places. And yet, there is so much more that needs to be done. And on some days, I'm sure you find that very invigorating in terms of the opportunities for growth that exist. And on other days, I'm sure you just want to pull the covers back over your head and say, when can we rest? And I think it's not about when can we rest, as much as we maybe could frame that in terms of when is it going to be safe for everyone, whether it's the people in Ukraine, it's the people who are working towards equality and voting rights, whether it's about transgender kids in the state of Florida and Texas. When is it going to be safe for everyone? And until it is, we keep going because we are so blessed. We are so blessed in our community. We are so blessed in this church. We are so blessed individually, and we are holding the high watch in much the same way that the prayer group has held the high watch for us for all of these years. We need to hold the high watch for the world. And so we take a moment, we put a 5-minute timer on our phone and say, I'm just going to pause for now, but then I'm going to get up and keep going, because that's what is ours to do. Because it's not enough to know the truth. We must live the truth as well. And so, having said all of that, I'm deliberately choosing to not read today's daily word. I'm going to read and share with you, and we're going to pray about yesterday's daily word. And so I invite you now to just simply get comfortable in your seat. And just relax. And walk with me into this message, into this inspiration. And the word for yesterday and the word for today is free. I choose how I respond to life. I have the power to discover who I am and to think, speak, and act in ways that are in integrity with my spiritual self. Regardless of what shows up in life, I remain open to opportunities to live from my beliefs and values. I am free to change my mind about who I am and what I want, need, and believe as I learn and grow. Every day, I seize the opportunity to remember there are no chains that bind my spiritual self, my divine identity. Freedom is my true nature. At the level of spirit, I am truly limitless. I feel my innate freedom most fully when I acknowledge I always have choices about how I experience the circumstances of my life. I celebrate this freedom each time I express myself and share my truth. Excuse me, and from Galatians chapter 5, verse 1, for freedom, Christ has set us free. Stand firm and do not submit again to a yoke of slavery. And so, again, the affirmation for today is, I choose how I respond to life. And I'll repeat that once more, and then I'd like us to do it together the third time. I choose how I respond to life. Together, I choose how I respond to life. And so, I invite you to take those words into your heart. And to be grateful for the freedom that we have, not only spiritually in terms of our divine identity and who we are, but the freedoms that we experience as a people here on the planet, this human experience that we are having, the freedoms that we have in our country, in our daily life, to choose our field of work, to choose who we love, and to remember that those freedoms are precious. They are not necessarily a given, and many of them have been hard fought for. And so we are grateful for the freedom that we have, especially the freedom of choice. We are grateful for all of those who have fought for those freedoms and for those who have held the high watch. And with that power of free choice, I invite us now to individually think about how we can choose peace. Peace in our hearts, peace in our world, in our relationships, and our thoughts and in our actions, peace in our words. And so for today, I invite everyone to step into a space where, knowing that we are free, we honor that freedom by choosing peace. And I invite my words to be your words as I repeat this expression several times, and then invite all of us to simply take that into silence. I am free to choose, and I choose peace. I am free to choose, and I choose peace. I am free to choose, and I choose peace. Breathe in that peace. Breathe out any separation, and take those thoughts of peace for a few moments now into the silence. I invite you now to gently bring your attention and your focus back to this place, and back to this room. And in a way of expressing our gratitude and thankfulness, and all that we have learned from our powerful prayer warriors, let us close out this time of prayer and meditation by committing to praying for each other, praying for this spiritual community, praying for our greater Kalamazoo community and our country, and praying for peace in the world. Thank you, God. Amen. And so we let it be.
So we want to welcome one more time our special music person this morning, Taylor Crow, close personal friend of mine, and we've been performing together for a number of years. Taylor is a professor of math. Am I getting the title right? Professor of math up in Grand Rapids at Grand Valley State University. And she also does some playing in the local community here. Is it Kalamazoo Philharmonia? Awesome. And then you were just telling me about a cello group today that you're a part of, cello ensemble. So she's very active, and we're very happy to have her here. So thanks.
Thank you, Taylor. That was wonderful, just wonderful. So it's been a while since I've been here, at least here. I mean, here, but not here. January 23rd was the last time I was up on the platform here speaking to you. So, interestingly enough, at that time, I think we had gotten kind of, at least I wasn't aware that we were going to be getting snow overnight. So I was kind of like, we woke up to about 3-4 inches of snow. And at that point, I was a little kind of down in the dumps because we weren't even yet halfway through winter. I think the person on the morning weather had said 56 days to go. I thought, it's not even halfway. But I'm very pleased to report, and you can all do the math with me, we're now down to 14 days until spring. So, yeah, you know. And as of yesterday, I actually believed that that was possible. So, keep melting, snow piles, keep melting. So, my talk title today is Growing Through Change. And I wish I could take credit for that, but I can't. That actually belongs to Reverend Greg Coles. And I will be delivering my adaptation of his message, if you will. But it was a message that he shared with us via his video presentation on February 6th as a precursor then to the listening circle that we did via Zoom on that Sunday afternoon. And today we're going to be doing a live listening circle. That'll be upstairs in the fellowship hall after the service. And we wanted to provide that opportunity for those folks who were Zoomed out, couldn't be here, had other commitments, but also as an opportunity to continue sharing our feelings, to continue the process of each person looking within and thinking about change and how change affects them, how they have been impacted by the change here with Reverend Mason resigning, and how they are thinking about change as they think about how we can go forward together as a spiritual community. How am I going to change to welcome what's next and best? How will we together creatively identify what's next and best? So the listening circle is a part of that process. And so for the next moment or two, I'm going to invite you into a purely listening process. I can pretty much guarantee you it's not going to be as lovely as the music you heard from Taylor, but it will be music of sorts. So, we don't know when opening day is going to be, but the players have showed up for spring training, you know, and they're doing their exercises and doing their drills, and probably they'll have some games here if they're not playing already. So I'm going to share an old familiar song with you, but you cannot sing as much as you might want to drown out what you're hearing. You cannot sing. You must only listen, all right? Because today is about listening. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd by me. Some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes. You're out at the old ball game. Well, that's not right. Oh, I don't know. So, was there anything you noticed about that version? Yeah. It's one you hadn't heard before, but you know what? I didn't change one note. I didn't change one word. So what made it different? Yeah, the ending. That wasn't what you expected, was it? No. So you expected it to go on just a little bit longer. And by changing up the rhythm right at the beginning of the song, I made it end differently. And my point in doing that is that something as innocuous as take me out to the ball game, we all have expectations about that, don't we? Yeah, it's supposed to end a certain way, and it didn't, right? And it's not just because I didn't say play ball at the end. Okay, so that'll take you down way off into the weeds if you start to think about all the expectations you have about things in life that you haven't really considered before. But my point in sharing this with you is because I think it's pretty representative of the fact that we love change when it's our idea. When it comes to us from somebody else, like I just changed up the ending of that song, it's like, nuh-uh, right? And we especially don't like change that's, if you will, imposed upon us. So there's change that's our idea, yay. Change that's somebody else's idea, it's like, well, maybe. But then there's change that gets imposed upon us that sometimes we can get really tied up in knots about, okay? So one of the things we're going through, we're processing an unexpected change here. And I want to spend a little time exploring some ideas about change. And so there's a slide there for Theory U, the book. And a gentleman by the name of Otto Schirmer and Greg Coles introduced us to this concept during his talk. Otto Schirmer has written a book called Theory U, all right? And we'll talk about the significance of that particular model in just a second. Because there's normally a certain way that we think about change. And, you know, we think, okay, I'm here and I want to be there. This is happening. I want something different to happen. And so we think, boom, straight shot from A to B. We think it and it's done. And that's kind of how we understand change. But even those of us who are mighty good manifestors, you know, tend to do it incrementally, not all at once. And so in the business world, you know, they put a little bit more time and energy into it. They give us this whole process of analyzing and visioning and then putting together a strategic plan. And that's how we get then from point A to point B, is by going through this process. But the reality of it is that change tends not to work that way. And often this is what it feels like. You know, like we're Thelma and Louise and we've just gone over the cliff, you know? And somehow, in those situations in particular, when the change is imposed upon us, it can feel like the rug has been pulled out right from underneath our feet. My experience is much more like the family circus cartoons that you've seen with Billy on his way from here to there. And change in reality kind of tends to happen like this. But Theory U gives us a pretty helpful way to think about change. And in looking at this U-shaped curve that the author has suggested to us, we see that there is a process of letting go, a process of presencing, and then a process of letting come. So we kind of start into the change process by letting go of what was, and then spend some time being present to now what is, because we've let go of what was, and then we let come what's next to be. And that's very different than analyzing and visioning and strategizing is in the corporate perspective. That tends to be a very linear type of process, and it tends to be driven versus letting come. And so part of this listening that we are doing is the opening up and being present to what we're letting go of and what needs to come to us. He also talks about, and Greg used the metaphor, if you will, of a little Lego structure. You know, you can buy the little Lego kits and build a car and build a little tractor or whatever. But then when you break apart all the pieces, that structure no longer exists. And what you're left with is just the pieces. And when we go through this process of letting go and simply look at the pieces that we have to work with, now part of the letting come activity is to maybe look at some of those pieces and say, okay, which ones maybe are gone? You know, that no longer exists really. And what are some of the new pieces that we might need to build a new structure for ourselves? So we're in the midst of all of that right now. And one of the things that he suggests then is to go into this process with three things: with an open mind, an open heart, and an open will. And when we take that approach, what shifts out of it when we have an open mind is judgments that we have, expectations that we have, the energy around our expectations that weren't met when the song ended differently than we thought it was going to. When we come into it with an open heart, we let go of our cynicism. You know, that kind of like, oh yeah, we tried that before, that didn't work. You know, that never comes up in conversations, right? When we come into it with an open will, in particular, an open will that is founded on our spiritual truth, then we can let go of fear, knowing that whatever comes next, whatever happens next, we're going to be okay, right? We've always been okay, and it's going to be okay. It's different, but it's going to be okay. We all survived the song that didn't end right? It's okay. So, and there's another important aspect to this. So the first mindset that Greg invited us into was to maybe think about change differently than we have thought about change before. And the second thing that he introduced us to is this concept of listening. And he used a quote from Rachel Naomi Raymond, which says, "Perhaps the most important thing we can give each other is our attention." You know what that's like when you get somebody's full attention, and you know what it's like when you're not getting their attention. You know, they're kind of hearing you with one ear, it's going out the other, or they're not even really listening at all. They're hearing, but they're not listening, right? You know, we have an expression in our house and in my family. It's like, well, I don't have the bandwidth for that right now. This is, you know, I want to have this conversation with you, but I don't have the bandwidth for it right now, meaning I can't give you my full attention. So let's find a time when we can work that out. So this idea of giving each other our full attention without judgment, without cynicism, and without fear. He also shares another quote from Heather Pilat. And her quote is, "Holding space means that we are willing to walk alongside another person in whatever journey they're on without judging them, without making them feel inadequate, without trying to fix them, or trying to impact the outcome. We're simply being present." When we hold space for other people, we open our hearts, offer unconditional support, and let go of judgment and control. So even though my experience of something is different than Karen's, I am willing to simply be present to how it showed up for her, what she felt, what other things that may have triggered for her. And I do that without trying to fix her and say, well, you know, that's just all about your mom. And if you picked up the phone and called, you know. No, we don't need to fix the other person. We don't need to have an opinion about how they have experienced something or what they're experiencing. We simply need to acknowledge that that's how they're feeling, that's what they felt, and just allow for that and be present to it. So that's the concept behind this sacred listening circle that we're going to do this right after the service. And in that space, we will come together to give each other our full attention and to simply be present to whatever the other folks are experiencing. Just to explain how this will work, there's no crosstalk. There's no chiming in with, yeah, I agree with what you said. It's just we're simply present to each other. So there's no crosstalk, there's no Q&A. This is not a town hall. This is simply an opportunity to let each person have a couple of minutes to share their feelings based on I statements. I felt, I thought, I want, I need. My stuff, not anybody else's stuff. So we'll be inviting folks to join us in that circle to introduce themselves, share how long they have been a part of this spiritual community, and then to share their feelings or their hope for the outcome of this transition time that we are going through. And so on behalf of Greg, who is our regional consultant, he did the first one, and we're holding another one today. On behalf of him, I invite you all to participate in that, and to do so with an open heart and an open mind and an open will. And I'm not sure, Karen, what the time frame is for getting started. Okay, we're going to try to get started then right after the service, so, all right. Yeah, okay. All right, more to follow. Probably would help if I stopped talking so that the service could come to an end. But appreciate your participation in that, your participation here today, and as always, thank you for the opportunity to be with you.
I'm Tina Jackson, the Confused board member, and I welcome you all here, and it's so nice to see all your lovely faces this morning, even behind a mask. I can see your eyes, and you're all beautiful. And thank you, Judy, for your message, and I encourage you all to join the listening circle. It is very powerful. So let's join together for our board affirmation. I am guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, and action. Now, as the ushers come forward, please take out your tithes and love offerings and join me in the offertory blessing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Thank you, Taylor and the music team. That was beautiful. Now, as our ushers come forth, we are tithing today, so our tithes are to Unity Worldwide Ministry, the YWCA Domestic Assault Program, Great Lakes Unity Regional Council, and to ourselves, Unity of Kalamazoo. Sweet, sweet Spirit, we thank you for these gifts so generously given today. It is from your goodness that we receive our blessings, and from our blessings that we now share. We receive these gifts in gratitude and thanksgiving. Amen. Okay, and we have a few announcements today. So immediately after service, as noted, we have our listening circle. And we have a bulk mailing coming up, and we need some helpers for that. Do you know what day that is, Karen? Pardon? Wednesday at noon. And we have, is Beth in the house? Yeah, come on up, Beth. That'll be it. There we go. Do I have any? Not yet. They're in process. Okay, no problem.
Hey friends, I am so happy and proud of this announcement today. First of all, I'm Beth Odekirk, member of your board, and co-chair of the Unity and Community team, which is off to a great start. We already have planned a couple of activities, the first of which is the HRI Walk to End Homelessness right here in our community. And we have a team that's made, and our goal we've set for our team is $500 from this congregation that will be placed right back here in Kalamazoo to assist with supports for housing for people in our community who need it. And I just heard on the news today, they are now opening up that voucher system for support for the first 1,000 people to get on a wait list. Let that sink in for a minute. HRI has helped 2,600 people last year meet the needs for housing for themselves. So, getting involved with this meets our needs too. It meets the needs for us to participate together in our community, being that light that we want to shine, taking our love into action. And so right now our team has already raised $160. Round of applause, please. And that was just in 1 week. So get on the website, just look up HRI Kalamazoo. It's right there on the very first page. It says join the team. It's a red button, and all you do is click it. And if you want to throw $10 at our team, come and walk with us. $35 for the t-shirt. That's their annual t-shirt. Wear your Unity and Unity Kalamazoo t-shirt while we walk together too. There's only one other church on that list. And so every time someone goes to that page, they are seeing our church name and that we are active in our community. So that's awesome. Yes, all right. So it is, I thought I had a slide, so let me go back. It's the 19th, right down at Growlers, Homer Stryker Field is where we'll meet if you want to walk. If you just want to walk, you're a presence. And we are exercising our freedom to get together and take action and be joyous and demonstrate peace together and solve those issues in our community that we can actually help control. We can do that. All right, thank you, love you, peace out.
And I know we don't like announcements, but I'm going to give you a couple anyway. I just wanted to thank all the people that gave in the Heart program on the Heart Tree. We collected about $750. We've switched it over to Shamrocks, and to carry it out one more month, because we have an $1,800 snowplow bill coming in March. So we're going to keep the program going a little longer. As it was noted, if you want an opportunity to help out here at Unity, you can help with the bulk mail this Wednesday. We're also looking for platform assistance, so we don't want to burn out Karen and Lynn Sager. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. And we could use another PowerPoint person. So let me know on that too. And one last thing, good news. We had a meeting last week with some of the past youth teachers, and we're going to bring the youth program back slowly, one Sunday a month, starting on Easter. So if you know people with kids, please spread the word. We're trying to get the word out there, but starting Easter Sunday, we will have some kids in the house. Thank you.
No sides. All right, so join us in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yay, God.
Let's sing our peace song.